Hey everybody, I am back up and going again. So welcome back. I am at my home weather station now. A little bit more comfortable. Got the dog fed, got me fed. That's the important thing. There are a couple thunderstorms over here coming over Lincoln 65 Highway. Down here southeastern Henry County. They are not severe, but you could get into some pretty heavy rain pretty quickly down here in this area. You're looking at a live shot looking off to the south toward this cell down here in Deepwater to the southeast. This is from downtown Clinton Square, one of our sky cams we utilize. So we'll be taking a look at a few of them. So let me tell you guys, I'm going to wait just a couple minutes. Hey, thanks for the new subscriber. So I'm going to wait just a couple minutes. And the main reason is because I want to kind of tell you guys what I think is kind of going on with these cells, what we have to look out for, and what we kind of have going on tonight. So I'll wait for a couple minutes, make sure everybody's able to get into the stream. Yeah, Desiree, that was that was in Warsaw. You guys are actually just south there at Warsaw of a couple, pretty robust thunderstorms up around Lincoln, Leesville. So again, I've got the streams up. Um, what we try to do, I know I've added about 700 people into Subby's Weather Talk room. So what I would like to do, what I am going to do is I am going to share that in our room, the stream here, just where everybody's in the know. So I want to make sure everybody has a chance to be able to find a stream. As you guys know, I would love to be able to go live in our Subby's Weather Talk group. However, you cannot go live on multiple platforms using the software that I do on groups. I can only do it on pages. That's the reason why we have West Central Missouri Advisory page that we go live on. So I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to be able to see what's going on in the area. So I went ahead and shared the stream to Subby's Weather Talk group. And remember, if anybody ever asks, hey, how do I find your live stream? Remember, all the links to my live streams are on our website, www.subbysweathertalk.com. So if you go there, and actually I'll just do that here real quick. We have a few minutes. And then we're going to talk about a storm moving into Bates County. So there is our weather page. This web page was made for you guys, by me. It has tons of information. You got our storm chase crew, which we'll talk to a few of them today as well. There's my YouTube live stream. You can click on that, go right to it. You also have down here at the bottom, you have all of our links to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube for both Radford Media group, in which I am their weather guy. I am their lead forecaster for Radford Media Group. So I appreciate them giving me a platform to be able to go live, get more information out to everybody. And then of course here on our homepage, you got radar. It works really, really well on phone. Takes up the whole screen on your phone, and it has over 50 plus different radars you can utilize. But yeah, you can scroll. It's totally interactive. So you can scroll down, you can go to velocity map. Here's our line of storm that is going to be moving into our area. So again, utilize subbiesweathertalk.com. Tons of information, power outage maps. We've got road conditions. We've got the LRC Weather 2020. We are a partner with Gary Lezak and Weather 2020 and the LRC. Tons of information. So I just want to make sure everybody was aware of that for our new people. So here's what we kind of have going on tonight. So of course we were put under a tornado watch earlier in the afternoon because we were up to 85, 88 degrees, high humidity. Some of the conditions favorable for tornadoes was happening around the area. We got put under a tornado watch. It did spin up a couple of tornadoes up in the Kansas City metro, all the way down to sections of Cass County. We went live. And then we had this line of storm became outflow dominant, meaning that there was an outflow out ahead of the line, and it completely choked the line of storms off from any warm, moist air, and that's what helped fuel these thunderstorms. So that outflow actually went across Johnson, Cass, Bates, and Henry County, and now it's pretty much dissipated. If you guys have stepped out, you notice it's considerably cooler. A little bit less humidity. Whereas down in Springfield, they're sitting at 89 degrees with 74% dew point, or a 74 degree dew point. So they're still kind of under the gun for some of the stronger storms. However, I just don't think, I think our biggest severe threat is basically over for West Central Missouri tonight, which is great news. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to have another, severe thunderstorm warning, maybe a borderline severe storm. That's a possibility still tonight. But I think for the most part, our severe threat has really gone downhill for Cass, Bates, Henry, Johnson, Pettis, and Benton counties. I think they've really gone down for the rest of the night tonight. We're just going to have to kind of see how this line interacts with the atmosphere to see if we can draw out enough instability, enough energy to be able to provide a focus. And we're still going to get thunderstorms. We're still going to get rain. But I think our severe threat has greatly diminished for the night. So if you notice, the tornado warnings are still active for Johnson, Henry, and Pettis County, although the threat is well east of us now, I believe. I don't know when or if they're going to cancel it because we still have another 2 hours left on it. But we do have some pretty robust thunderstorms moving into Bates County right now. They do have a little bit of hail core, maybe some pea-sized hail falling near Amsterdam down to Amoret along 52 Highway. We also have maybe some down here near Hume coming across the state line into Bates County. But man, for the most part, I don't know if these things are gonna get their juice back to provide a focus for any severe thunderstorms. So what I thought I would do is I'm gonna go live with you guys for a while tonight. We're gonna kind of see what these thunderstorms do, how they interact with the atmosphere. For the most part, I think most of these cells here in our area are gonna behave. Now, as you get closer down south, now notice they have not had hardly any rain in southwest Missouri from Springfield down to Joplin, Carthage. There are a few thunderstorms out ahead of that dry line that, of course, we need to watch. They could be moving up into Vernon County around Nevada. So we're still going to be watching some of West Central Missouri. We do cover Vernon County, St. Clair County, Benton County. Those are the 3 counties that are on the far northern edge of the Springfield National Weather Service area. A lot of times they get left in the dark, especially Benton County, because Benton County is way up here, way up north. And actually, I would think that they should probably fall into the Pleasant Hill or the Kansas City National Weather Service area, but they don't. So that's why we include those 3 counties as well as the 5 counties here. We are in the southern half, the southernmost counties of the National Weather Service out of Pleasant Hill. So sometimes our area kind of gets left out of some of the wording. They're paying attention more of the more metropolitan, the populated areas where we're more rural in our area. Sometimes we get left out. So that's one of the big reasons why we did Subby's Weather Talk, and the reason why we kind of stick with those 8 counties here in west central Missouri. But we'll also take a look at some cells down in Springfield, Kansas City, as we have a lot of friends, family, and relatives that live up in those areas. We want to make sure that we get word out for those cells too. So really the closest severe thunderstorm warning we have is actually down in Camden, down at Osage Beach, where they're having some 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail going on down there. Get ready to move into Osage Beach, Brumley, Iberia. We do have a couple people from Iberia that's in our group, so kind of giving them a little bit of a heads up. And then we've got some just good old-fashioned garden variety stronger thunderstorms in Pettis, northern Benton County, and looks like they're just now moving out of Henry County. But just big-time rain producers and maybe some small pea-size hail. And of course, this cell here in Bates County right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn that one off there for a second. This one here in Bates County, again, maybe some pea-sized hail, torrential rainfall. These things are very prolific rain producers. All of these cells have been. Now, here in Clinton, in Henry County, we barely got a drop this afternoon. So, we haven't received the rainfall that a lot of areas in west central Missouri have today. But, and again, I just, right now, we don't have any warnings along this line right now. No severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch that goes all the way up to Miami County and Fort Scott and Pittsburgh, down to Miami, Oklahoma, and then further to the west. But right now, even though does look like we're under a tornado watch, I really think the severe threat has greatly diminished tonight. We're going to continue to watch these cells, and let me jump over here to chat here real quick. Oh, we got a lot of people in chat already. So, yeah, I did know they are down at H. Rowe Bartle. So, I did talk to every year, in case you might be a first-time Scout parent. I know how they are. My mother was very, very overprotective of the weather back when I was in Scouts. I am an Eagle Scout with Troop 430 here in Clinton. My son is an Eagle Scout in Troop 225. So, we know the scouting organization very well. And so I talked with Matt Willings, and he is down, of course, at Bartle right now at Scout Camp. And we keep a very close eye on H. Rowe Bartle during this time of year. Several sessions of Boy Scout Camp is going on down there in the Iconium area. So, of course, they got hit pretty hard right around the 19th of May when we had the last severe event come through. But he's already contacted me tonight and said, hey, kind of keep me posted. So every year, I keep a very close watch on the boys there at H. Rowe Bartle. So maybe you might be able to rest a little easy when your little one's down at Scout Camp. One of the big things we pushed for a very long time was that we pushed for a very long time, and that was for storm shelters at H. Rowe Bartle. And finally, a few years ago, they put a FEMA certified storm shelter underneath each campsite to give the boys a place to be able to go in case of severe weather, and I think that is fantastic. So we've got that going for us, and we have somebody that's watching out for H. Rowe Bartle as well here at Subby's Weather Talk and Radford Media Group. So is it safe to travel to Harrisonville from Butler? I think so. The sooner you go, probably the better, as you might have a little bit of pea-sized hail and torrential rainfall. So that's going to be coming across 49 highways. So if you get on there right now, you should be able to sit there and make it up at least north of this cell here in Harrisonville. So, well, you better get on the road now, because you don't want to be in the middle of all that heavy rain. I mean, visibility down to under a quarter mile in these cells. Even though they're heavy, they are not severe. Cocamp had some wild clouds and the temperature dropped. Yes. So we also had a couple gentlemen ask earlier in the stream, in our first stream, that they saw some very, very low clouds. They looked really scary. And, I tried to explain it. You guys know, I talk about the models. I talk about the SCUTEs. It's very confusing when you look at it if you don't know what you're looking at, but it's relatively easy to read if you know what the parameters are. So basically, what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump over here to ARRR, and I'm just going to show you guys what I look at. And let's go to composite reflectivity, and let's go ahead and go to the state of Missouri, and I'll bring this over and I'll show you guys. So when I'm looking at models, and let's put this into a forecast loop. Let's go a couple hours into this. So when I'm looking at SCUTEs, and a sounding is what they're called. This is what you're going to be looking at right now. And I take a look at this level right here. Hopefully you can see it. It says LCL. That's the green line. That stands for liquid condensation level. This is your height up in the atmosphere. So 1,000 millibars, that is at the surface. 850, you're about 5,000 feet up, so on and so forth. 500 millibar level, I utilize that map all the time. That's 18,000 feet above our heads. Liquid condensation level is the level at which clouds can form. So earlier tonight, that LCL was all the way down here. It was sitting at about 900 millibar, meaning that just above us, that we are going to see clouds form. So you have to have that if you have any potential of tornadic supercells. You got to have a low cloud base. But since most of the ingredients were up north for tornadoes, you're going to get a lot of scary looking clouds. They're called scud, and they get called in a lot for the potential of being a tornado, but they're not. They're just a scary looking cloud that are low hanging, and I knew that was going to be a case because this LCL was very, very low. So, we kind of learned a little bit about that earlier tonight as well. So there was a lot of scary looking clouds out there tonight, and but again, for the most part, I really think that once these thunderstorms move across the state line into west central Missouri, where that outflow from that last line have gone through, I think we will see them weaken, and the severe threat being very, very low for tonight in west central Missouri. A little bit different story down here in southwest Missouri. John Endicott. Oh, man. You know, sometimes I like to just go back and rewatch my stream just to where I can catch all the comments. Sometimes that's really that's entertainment for me here at night. Me and the dog will sit around and rewatch my stream just to look at the comments. Hey, Jake. Yeah, so Sedalia got hit pretty hard with some strong straight line winds. I got some pictures of that here. I do have some pictures that I'm going to show here in a moment to you guys. So again, I think it's a little deceiving. We do have a tornado watch still in effect for Pettis, Johnson, and Henry County. However, I keep waiting for the National Weather Service to probably let that go, because all the ingredients, they have really plummeted here over the last hour and a half or so. Our temperature dropped. Our CAPE value, that's the energy that thunderstorms need to have in order to sustain themselves and get stronger. That CAPE stands for convective available potential energy. If you think back in physics class, how energy is measured in joules per kilogram. That's how they measure how much energy the atmosphere has. We were earlier in the day sitting at about 4,000 joules per kilogram. After that outflow come through and they sent up a weather balloon, and our CAPE value dropped down to like 350. So the energy, even though we're still pretty warm out there, we're 74, 75 degrees, we still have 68-degree dew point. The energy there, the instability is not there to sustain these storms. And notice just over the last 15 minutes that I've been gabbing, you notice that cell that come into Bates County, it's basically falling apart. And I think that's what's going to happen for the rest of the evening here in west central Missouri. We're still going to have some isolated downpours and maybe a few lightning strikes like what's going on over here in Benton County. Warsaw, Tightwad, Lowry City, quite a few lightning strikes, torrential rainfall, but we're not seeing that, we're not seeing them getting any stronger. They're not intensifying, and that's because it pretty much spent all of the energy out on that first line and the outflow. Yeah, Nevada, you're actually looking off to the west and you're seeing this line down here, and it's a pretty intense line. Remember that LCL, liquid condensation level, is pretty low. You're going to see some low level clouds. With these being such big rain producers, that's what gives these clouds a really, really almost purple black color, because they're so full of rain. So you're going to see, you look off to the west from Nevada right now and look like the world's about to end. But actually, they're not even severe right now. Just big time big time rain producers. And looked like quite a bit of lightning as well. Thunder and lightning here in Sedalia. Hi, Julia from Sedalia. So again, just garden variety thunderstorms. I'm not expecting these to intensify any at all. I've questioned maybe going live or just updating on our social media pages, but I thought this was a good time maybe to share a little education, show the new people where you can go to get all the information on our website, subbiesweathertalk.com. And again, just let you guys know, we still have all summer long on subbiesweathertalk.com. We're having a promo with Subby Swag. So all you gotta do is click on Subby Swag. We got all different color shirts, tumblers, we got hats, we got coolie cups, we got all kinds of stuff here. And if I see you in public, and I go everywhere, I am everywhere. I am in Sedalia, I'm in Warsaw, I'm in Independence. I'm literally everywhere. And if I see you wearing any Subby Swag, I keep prizes on me. And most of the time, the prize is actually going to be more than what you spent on a shirt or a hat. So we're going to be doing that all summer. So if I see you in public and you're wearing a Subby shirt or a hat or drinking soda from a coolie cup, something like that, you're going to win a prize from me. So we're going to have to get a picture, but you're going to win a prize. I've given away about 3 so far, so that's awesome. So I appreciate all the support, and I really appreciate O3 Custom Engravings. Tyler, he is a Men in Blue from Bates County, works at the Sheriff's Department, does this as a side gig, him and I believe a couple other deputies. So, you know, it's a good way for them to make a little extra money, because if you don't know, Sheriff Departments, I got started off with the Sheriff's Department in St. Clair County. You don't get paid a whole lot for putting your life on the line every single day. So this is a way that they can actually make a little extra money as well. And so definitely support Tyler over there at O3 Custom Engravings. He does great work. I'm wearing one of the hats right now, if you guys can see. Subby Weather Talk hats. Hey, sis. The last rain that was warned got us 1.5 inches in Lakeview Heights. Wow, Barb. Wow. No tank tops. But I tell you what, if you get on that and there's a little box that says message O3 Engravings, and Tyler will get that email. And if you say, hey, can you do tank? I guarantee you he can probably fix you up with the tank top. Tyler's done all kinds of great things. I don't have one to show you except on my phone, and it's kind of faded. But we do Subby's Weather Talk stickers. And I give those out to all the school kids that I go and teach weather class. We have seminars, went through, 15 schools this spring. And we do little experiments, and we talk about the weather, talk about safety. And then I give them out stickers, and they can put them on their notebooks or their phones or whatever they might have. So Tyler does a good job. He loves to customize, so definitely give him a holler. I bet he can get you fixed up. Yeah, sis, you have a shirt on. I'm not being a team player, but you got to be live in person. Live in person to win a prize. Did I give myself a prize? Yeah, you know it. So, let's do a little recap. So, this was our first initial line that moved through. And we still have a few thunderstorms here in Benton County, Pettis County, down here in far southeast Henry County, down south of Tightwad, south of 7 Highway. And these are just good old-fashioned thunderstorms. And again, with that outflow, that rain-cooled air, that line that moved through most of west central Missouri has really weakened the atmosphere. So our CAPE values are down, temperature's down, dew point down. I really think that our severe threat is over for the rest of the night. We will likely get some rain and some garden variety thunderstorms. But as you can see, we don't have any watches out with the exception of this tornado watch for Pettis, Johnson, and Henry. And again, I just keep waiting for them to cancel because the tornado threat is basically gone now here in West Central Missouri, as well as the severe threat. BJ says he'll need a sleeveless. Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, Tyler can work magic. But, you know, I don't know if you're going to get a discount with no sleeves, BJ. Now, don't sit there and try to take that shirt and take the price of the shirt divided by 4 because you don't get 2 sleeves. They don't work that way, unfortunately. But if he can't do it, let me get you fixed up. I'll grab that shirt and I'll cut it out with a pair of scissors and charge you $10 and we'll call it a day. Let's see how our cameras are looking. Where we off? Maybe look off to the west here. You bet, Steph. My pleasure. And show you guys this cam. This is looking off west from over here near, let's see where we at. There we are. So right over here in Dayton, we're looking off to this cell here at Archie. Let me bring that up for you guys, and I'll blow this up just a little bit so you can see it better. So that's our Skycam looking west at the cell in Archie. Which is, this cell here does have a little bit of structure to it. That's kind of neat. You do have this little low cloud base. It's just like a little bitty hail core right here with this updraft. So here you have, hopefully you guys can see my cursor. Right here is the base. And you notice how you have a little tower that's going up at an angle. That's your updraft. And we probably have a really small hail core right up underneath there. Just a very, very small cell. And if you look over here on radar, that's exactly right here, just south of Archie, we have a little bitty hail core. Right here. So that is what you're likely looking at, is this hail core there on the cam. Oh my goodness, traffic, I bet it is. I bet traffic is a nightmare. So we got some really good videos and pictures. Let's go through some of them. I know you guys are watching the stream. You can't really watch both Subby's Weather Talk and the stream at the same time, or you're highly talented. Let me bring this over. Let's go through some of the pictures and videos that we have here on the Facebook site. And this is what makes our group so darn good, is the fact that everybody helps each other out with road conditions during the winter. They send in reports of damage, hail size, pictures driving. I mean, it's fantastic, the amount of information that's shared just to person here in our room. But take a look at this. This is what I was looking at just a little bit ago. Very impressive. Thank you, Marilyn, for sharing that. Yeah, you see that, and you you start to tense up just a little bit if you're driving, not knowing what you're driving into. So, see what else we got. We have Elizabeth is sending this in. Now that is not rotating. That is actually condensation clouds forming low to the surface. That's where that LCL comes from. But the clouds are forming right before your eyes, which is really, really cool. And it's scary sometimes when you're watching that, right? You know, it's almost like something forming right in front of you. So thank you, Elizabeth, for sending that in. Appreciate that. That was cool to look at. Let's take a look. Here's a picture that Caleb took. Lee Summit looking towards the tornado-warned storm. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you, Caleb. Kyra rolling in just west of Columbia. I think I talked to her in the chat a little bit ago. So, very ominous looking clouds rolling into Columbia. We do have, that was going over Coal Camp School. Thank you, Kayla. We also have one of the actual tornado. Let's look at this video. Look pretty ominous. That was in Grandview at about 3 o'clock. So I wanted to jump. There we go. This was a good one. Now that is when it's actually circulating. You got rotation from Nathan Bailey, Kansas City, Kansas. So you can definitely see that lower level rotation right above them. That was an awesome video. Looked like it was shared by Channel 5 from Nathan Bailey in Kansas City, Kansas. We got Angie up there, probably in close to Adrian. Thank you, Angie. South of Sedalia. So this is some of the damage that we were talking about. So straight line wind damage in Sedalia. They do have power outages up there. Wind and hail in Warsaw look like about nickel-sized hail. Thank you, Miss Anonymous. Ryan Slater about 6 minutes ago. Cold tightwad. That's that little cell that we were looking at. Looked pretty ominous, but it's behaving itself, so that's the good news. Now I did see Abe Lincoln. I see where she's getting that at. That's funny. I saw a picture. I don't know if I can find it. So, but this is a good example. Let me show you guys something. My lightning detector was going off. So, you guys see this area right here? Now, a lot of people think that something is forming right there. And it is. It's clouds. What happens, the condensation, air rises ahead of that thunderstorm. And when it does, it condenses. If the LCL is low, the liquid condensation level, as that air rises, it instantly forms into a cloud. It condenses. And that's what you see out ahead of a lot of these shelf clouds. This big roll cloud looking shelf cloud that rolls in. And you see a bunch of these little clouds that are forming on the base of that. And that's what causes it, is the low LCL. And then as that air rises, it condenses into a low-hanging cloud. And a lot of people think a tornado is forming, but it's not. So, real quick, let's jump back over to this here, our live cam. Show you guys something here. I'm going to cover everything up. You can see the rain coming across. We just missed the cloud that was coming up over the camera. Now you see the rain. You're going to see that rain move across the field toward the camera, which is always kind of a cool thing I like to watch when I'm watching these storms. You notice the visibility in the background. You can't even hardly, there comes the rain. See how fast that rain came in? Absolutely torrential rains with these little bitty thunderstorms. Now it's going to start raining. Visibility's almost zero out there now. Pouring down rain. Just want to show you guys. And in the process, are also, thanks to Mindy Hathcock in the Blue Springs area, that was a picture of a tornado, and you can see the cone shape perfectly. Goes down right behind that tree. So that was a great picture from Mindy. Thank you, Mindy. That was a great shot. So again, thank you guys so much for all the pictures and the videos sent in. There are tons of them. I love to go through these. And I encourage you guys to get on and take a look at some of these pictures and videos that our members have taken. They're incredible. So for those of you just maybe getting on, and again, just to recap, because of that outflow that moved across, that rain-cooled air moved across most of west central Missouri with that front line of storms, even though, like here in Clinton, we didn't get any rain, but it did cool us down. It took some of that energy out of the atmosphere. And because of that, any thunderstorms that move through west central Missouri, they're having a very, very hard time of actually staying severe or even getting to the severe stage. So I really think for all of west central Missouri, I think our severe threat is over for the night. We're still likely going to have some torrential rainfall, just like we've seen there on our Skycam. We're going to have little showers and thunderstorms that will move through, garden variety. I'm not expecting any more severe weather. The only exception to that would be maybe down toward Vernon, St. Clair County. They're still far enough south where they're still kind of a little bit warmer. Dew points are just a little bit higher. Be kind of watching that, but we haven't had any severe thunderstorm warnings with any of these cells that have moved across eastern Kansas. Eastern Kansas is under a severe thunderstorm watch, but we haven't had any warning from any of these cells. So I'm not saying that there's no chance of a severe thunderstorm warning, but there could be a cell that maybe gets up there borderline and they issue a warning for a short period, but it's likely not, it's probably going to fall apart. So we do have a pretty good cell coming into the Nevada area down in Vernon County. And again, it has a very, very small hail core. But again, I'm not expecting this thing to intensify because we're really in a very stable environment right now outside of torrential rains. So that's just going to add to the rain gauges, add to the flooding concerns, because you get up underneath one of these, we're talking 1 to 2 inch rainfall rates per hour. So very, very heavy rains can fall in a very short amount of time. Barbara over at Lakeview Heights. Lakeview Heights is down here off of H and B Road. And she had mentioned just with that cell that come through there, that there's Lakeview Heights right here. Those are my own stomping grounds down in this area. Down around Brush Creek. Oh, good fishing down there. But anyway, down around Lakeview Heights, they had like 1.5 inches of rain in a very, very short amount of time just with the cell that moved through. So again, we can get very heavy rainfall rates in a very short amount of time. So outside from that, that's really going to be our biggest threat tonight is going to be the heavy rains and of course quite a bit of lightning. You always got to consider possibility of a power outage when we have quite a bit of lightning. I've seen a lot of cloud to ground lightning, which is even more dangerous. Could strike a transformer, power pole. So definitely want to have a plan in case you lose power because of lightning. But other than that, guys, I really think we're home safe tonight. Sam, I think I probably pretty much answered your question on the second wave. We're gonna get thunderstorms, but that outflow, that rain cooled air that moved through west central Missouri, it took all that energy for this line of storms and just crashed it, where we don't have any energy for these storms to intensify. So, this is one of the reasons why we do what's called nowcasting, where you really don't know how these storms are going to react in the atmosphere. Because if you take a look at our short-term model, something we rely on very, very much, a short-term model, it's still showing for Henry County to be like 84 degrees with 74 degree dew points right now. We're not. It didn't take a consideration of an outflow from the previous storms. So with us sitting at 73, 74 degrees, it took a lot of the energy out that we would have to make this line of thunderstorms grow strong and be severe. So again, I don't think we're going to see any more severe weather outside of some heavy rain and lightning, and we have a little bit of flooding concerns. There's a bunch of flood warnings out right now from Plattsburgh, Lawson, Liberty, Buckner, Belton, Harrisonville, Adrian, Rich Hill, Nevada. It was a pretty volatile night there for a little while when we had multiple tornado warnings up in the very populated areas of Johnson County, Kansas, Jackson County, Independence, Blue Springs. They had a tornado that threw debris there at Truman Complex where the Royals and the Chiefs play. It started off pretty volatile, but we're very, very thankful that we had an outflow to really try to stabilize our air here in west central Missouri. So we're going to have to deal with some lightning and some heavy rain, but I think that's going to be about it for the night, guys. No, Kevin, I think everything's good down in Taborville, and again, it's going to be, one big hint right now, too, is the fact that there's not, if you minus that tornado watch is still ongoing for Henry, Johnson, and Pettis County, and for a few counties up north. I don't know why they haven't canceled that yet. They're too busy with storm damage reports up there in the Kansas City area. There's so many damage reports flooding into the National Weather Service right now in Independence, Raytown, Johnson County, Kansas, Jackson County. So I'm sure that they are very, very busy right now. But again, I don't. You take that out of the equation, and there's no other watches from the Springfield area or the Pleasant Hill, Kansas City area. So if there was going to be any threat of severe weather with any of these cells, we would be under a watch right now, in which we're not, because I think they think the same as I do. These things are going to stay under severe limits. So I would not worry about these storms the rest of the night, guys. It's looking like just regular garden variety thunderstorms for the rest of the evening. Yeah, I bet you it was Lakeside Resort, Penny. Lakeview Heights. It's actually a jurisdiction. It's a town. So unless this could have been like way back in maybe the early 1800s, late 1700s, something like that. But I'd say it's probably Lakeside Resort. I know exactly where Lakeside Resort is. Hi, KK. Wablo still hadn't got any rain. Yeah, we hadn't either here in Clinton either, but our rain's coming in. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get here. But as far as severe weather, I don't think we're going to see any severe weather the rest of the night. No, Scott. Not seeing any rotation there in Nevada. I've got a couple different programs on different monitors, but I'll show you down here by Brenall, right down through here. There's a little bitty hail core down there, maybe some, we might have some 40, 45 mile an hour wind gusts coming through, but yeah, not seeing anything concerning here in Vernon County. Just a good old-fashioned strong thunderstorm coming through Vernon County right now, Scott. Just with the thunderstorm. Nothing severe there at Butler, Sarah. So again, we're gonna get thunderstorms, we're gonna get lightning, guys, but severe threat is pretty much over for all of West Central Missouri. So I'm gonna stay here with you guys for just a little bit longer. And again, we're not seeing anything threatening coming from radar. I'm in constant communication with the National Weather Service in both Springfield and Kansas City, and they're kind of in agreement as well that most of the energy is out of the atmosphere right now for any severe weather to take place. That's the reason why there are no watches. The only place that is still they're kind of maybe keeping a close eye on is going to be down here in Southwest Missouri from Springfield over to Joplin, Neosho, Anderson, Cassville in this little area. They haven't gotten any rain. They're still warm. They got high dew points, so maybe when this dry line cold front makes its way into that area, we might see a couple stronger storms. But up here in west central Missouri, we're just not going to see it. We got kind of curious to see what it's sitting at. So, yeah, here at the weather station at the radio, or I'm sorry, at the radio station, our weather station is picking up about 75 degrees with the 68 dew point, whereas the short-term models were showing us being about 85 with the 75 dew point. So, you know, it's taking a lot of that energy out of the atmosphere. So, yeah, Kim, Knobs the same way. Just garden variety thunderstorms. And keep in mind, from Independence, Liberty, Smithville, Overland Park, all the way down, where you see that orange color, that is just moderate rain showers. That's all that is. So that's behind the front. No severe weather. These here are thunderstorms, but they're kind of isolated. And again, maybe pea-sized hail out of the strongest. But I'm not expecting any severe weather with any of this for the rest of the night. Gonna be keeping an eye on it for a little while tonight for H.R.O. Bartle. This might be, let's see, if this are, today is Tuesday. Is this their first night down there? This could be their first night down there, maybe. So be keeping an eye. They're gonna get hit with a thunderstorm. This cluster that's over Nevada right now will be heading up toward H.R.O. Bartle. We got H.R.O. Bartle highlighted right here. H.R.O. Bartle Scout Reservation down by Iconium. And the famous peach knee-high floats that a scout would die for in August. Trust me. When it's 110 degrees trying to sleep at night in a tent. Oh, gosh. Check in with the National Weather Service here. They're still just processing storm report after storm report. Several reports of large trees down in Sedalia, including one onto a vehicle on U.S. Highway 50. So again, Sedalia got hit with some pretty strong straight line winds earlier, but it looked like majority of all the damage is coming up from over just on the Kansas side in Kansas City Metro, Olathe, Spring Hill, Peculiar, Blue Springs, Lee Summit, Independence. In that area is where most of the storm reports are coming out of. All right, guys, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I think I don't see a need for us to continue to go live again. I wanted to come live to explain to you guys what we have going on. And again, I think the atmosphere has stabled out enough to keep any severe threat very, very minimal for the rest of the night. I'm just expecting some robust garden variety thunderstorms with a lot of lightning, maybe 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. But as far as severe weather goes, we're pretty much done for the night, guys. So I think I am going to go ahead and call it a stream for now. It's not like I'm getting off of here going to bed. I'm going to be watching this, the remaining thunderstorms in the area. I'll update on our social media platforms, of course, if needed. And then if for some reason there happens to be just a stray dog out there that happens to, maybe build up on an outflow or something, maybe get strong, turns into a severe thunderstorm warning, I will go back live and walk you through that severe thunderstorm warning. But Right now, there's no watches. And again, you're seeing that Henry, Johnson, Pettis County under a tornado watch. I really think that the National Weather Service is extremely busy right now in Kansas City with all the storm reports. Otherwise, they probably would have canceled that about an hour ago. So I think they're just running a little bit behind. No threatening weather here in our area outside of maybe some pea-sized hail and 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts and torrential rain. So make sure you realize that there are a lot of flash flood warnings out there for Cass, Bates counties right now. And I say after this rain moves through west central Missouri, I say we probably have a few more flash flood warnings as well. So, don't want to take that lightly. The flood warnings, more people die from flash flooding than what they do tornadoes combined. So, we need to take that seriously, especially if you live in low-lying areas. So, you bet, Jenna. So I think that's going to call it, guys. Listen, I appreciate all the support tonight. Thank you guys so much for all of the super chats, super stickers, Facebook stars. You guys went, of course, as always, above and beyond in support for Subby's Weather Talk. For all those that might be new, that have joined the stream for the first time, want to welcome you guys to our little community here. We're getting to be close to 20,000 strong here at Subby's Weather Talk, and what's awesome about it, I think most days I can just let it run itself because we have such great members. It is a private group. A lot of people want the posts that I share on Subby's Weather Talk. They want to be able to share it, and because it's a private group, they can't share it. The reasoning behind that, it keeps all the scammers out. That's one thing that I see in every group out there, is all of the scammers. And we don't need them here in Subby's Weather Talk. So I put it as private. I approve each and every one of those 20,000 people in our room. And to make sure that they're not from Czechoslovakia or something, or have some weird name. I don't let them come in. I figured if they really want to get in Subby's Weather Talk, that they'll message me and say, hey, I'm really a legit person, let me in, and I'll let them in. But that's the reason why we keep it private, just to keep the spammers out. So you can always screenshot and share it on your own page. That's what many do. So I encourage you to do that. If you see a warning or maybe a post that I put about severe weather or winter weather, we're only just a few months away from winter, guys. Something like that, feel free, snapshot it and put it on your own page. Get it out there. I encourage us sharing so much information to as many people as we can. A big shout out to Radford Media Group. The radio station, lead forecaster for here in west central Missouri. Those guys, they give me an avenue to be able to reach even more people with their social media platforms. And of course, our sponsors, Family Safe Certified Storm Shelters. They're down in Republic, Missouri. If anybody is looking for above ground or below ground tornado shelter, those are the people to get for sure. Family Safe Certified Storm Shelters. We got Clayton, Hartfeld, Home Care. And then, of course, we've got Max Motors. They have several dealerships throughout west central Missouri, including one right here in Clinton. They're the ones that pay my salary. So I appreciate having the sponsorships there. And, of course, with Radford Media Group as well. So, hi, Frugal Rock. It's been a while since I've seen you. At least here in chat. It's been a little while. Skipper says, thank you. Now, is it Skipper or is it anonymous? I can't remember which two you are. Skipper. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for me for tonight. Stay weather aware. Don't turn your weather radio off. Go ahead and leave them on tonight. Okay, just in case one of these things end up becomes a renegade and wants to produce some quarter-sized hail or something. But for the most part, and again, our tornado threat as well as our severe threat is pretty much done for the night. And just a second ago, I seen that disappear. Let me check on this real quick before we get off of here. So I know I've seen that disappear for a moment, but I'm sure once they get caught up, they will go ahead and release those tornado watches for Johnson, Pettis, and Henry counties here in Missouri. And again, I'll be keeping a close watch on these cells for the remainder of the night. We do have another severe threat coming in, possibly for Thursday, Friday. And actually, tomorrow is looking like a pretty decent day. We have an outside shot of a thunderstorm, but I think for the most part, we're going to stay dry tomorrow with just a slight chance of a thunderstorm. But then Thursday and Friday, we have another shot of maybe some severe weather. Right now, it looks like it's going to remain maybe just to our south, down around southwest Missouri, Springfield area. But we'll be keeping a close eye on that, and I'll be updating that first thing in the morning on my Katie Facebook page. I encourage you guys, get on there. I do West Central Missouri forecasts. We do weather blogs. We do all kinds of good stuff there at Radford Media Group and 95.3 Katie Facebook page. I encourage you guys to check that out. Hi, Kelly. I think your garden's going to get watered here in just a little bit. You're just going to have to remain patient, my young whippersnapper. And thank you, Kelly, for the candy she put on my desk during the live stream down at the office before she went home. So Kelly is the circuit clerk here in Henry County, newly appointed. And she does a fantastic job here in Henry County. We're so lucky to have her. So thank you, Kelly, for the candy. That was awesome. Linda mentions that her father told her 60 years ago that because the elevation of the town, it wouldn't get hit, and it had never been in your life. We did get direct wind, but I'd rather be in town than anywhere else when that happens. So, you know, it's amazing, guys, how many stories that you hear about, being close to Truman Lake and all the water, and being in the Golden Valley here in Henry County. How we won't get any tornadoes. An old Indian lore that that our area was blessed by the Indians and therefore sacred ground. We won't receive a tornado. But when you blow, we're looking at a very, very small section of our state, which is a very small section of our country, which is in a very small section of the earth. When you sit there, take that entire globe and the weather that circulates around the globe on a daily basis, a pin right in one specific spot, you probably have better chance winning the Powerball. Tornado chances are so slim, even on those high risk days, when you get up to a 15% chance that somebody in that area will see a tornado within 50 miles of any given point in that area. That's a high risk day. 15% chance that within 50 miles of me, so from here to Harrisonville, that there'll be a tornado, a 15% chance. It's so small, guys, and that's on a high risk day. A low risk day is a 2% chance. So the chances of anything happening to a given area is so small. But, regardless of the elevation, regardless if you're in a valley, just because we have Truman Lake around us, even though lakes do affect the weather, that's no doubt. I'm a firm believer in that. Just take a look at lake effect snows up at the Great Lakes. It does play a part of our climate here in West Central Missouri, but it's not going to keep a tornado from coming through a certain area, and that's the reason why we have to stay very weather aware as we have storms and setups, kind of like what we had tonight there for that first 2 hours. And we have to stay weather aware, have multiple means to receive warnings. And of course, we're here trying to keep everybody in West Central Missouri safe here at Subby's Weather Talk and Radford Media Group. Yeah, I have a feeling this will probably be a pretty good time for me to go ahead and end the stream. So we've got one of our storm chasers, Derek Dunn, who was out tonight wanting to know about a Dorito system, and I got Zachary Tribble, great friend of mine, telling me, so you're telling me I still have a chance. So I can tell everybody is starting to get a little giddy on the chat tonight. So absolutely, Patty, tornado don't discriminate. Hilltop, valley, water, or interstate, or big cities. Absolutely. Just look at St. Louis. So everybody stay weather aware. Thank you for joining our stream tonight. Stay safe, and we'll be talking to you all soon.